Yes. So if we want to create any observables, right, the good naming convention is that we will give dollar at the end of the name. Okay. And we will specify, suppose for example, it's an observable of type string. Okay. And you can just create an observable using of operator. Okay. And it is from RxJS. You will learn about what is RxJS of and all. Okay. For time being, just remember that of is used for creating an observable. Okay. And you will assign what's the value in this. Suppose angular class. Now tell me, how can I access the value of an observable? Suppose,
Subscribe.
yes, if I directly give like console.log of this dot, okay, name, then what it will give me? What will be printed in the console? What will be printed on the console? What it is?
Anusha. Anusha.
What I have written? Name dollar.
Name dollar.
What is this variable? It's Anusha, right? It's name variable.
Yes.
Different. It's not related to this. Now, what will be printed on the console for this line? Tell me. What it is? What is this name dollar?
Observable.
Observable.
Observable will be printed on the screen.
Right.
Understood?
Yes.
Suppose if we want to access the value of this observable, then what we need to do? We need to
Subscribe.
subtract that. Okay.
Yes.
So what we need to do? This dot name dollar. Okay. And subscribe. Then get data. Then console.log of data. Now what will be printed? Understood, right?
FCH. Yes.
Yes.
Angular class. Okay. Suppose if I want to access this data in the HTML file, how can you do that? Can someone tell me, if I want to access this data, whatever is printed, right? This Angular class, I want it in the HTML page. Can someone tell me how can I do that? Any guess, any idea, anything, let me know. Just try, na? Even if it's right or wrong. Suppose if I want to access this data, how can I do that in the template?
String template.
Whether can I give directly data like this?
No.
Sorry? Can I give directly like this?
No.
No. Okay. Then what should I do? Any idea?
Can we do string interpolation?
String interpolation.
String interpolation with what? With what?
Data.
Data.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. Listening the classes super and excellently. Whether it is related to this function or it is a outside variable data. Whether data is an outside variable or it is limited to this callback function.
Limited to the callback function.
Then how can you access it in the template? Only the variables you will be declaring here are accessible. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Using custom directive, we can access.
Using custom directive. What is the meaning of custom directive?
Is that my app like that?
Approot is a custom
Approot,
directive.
yeah. Selector, using selectors.
Is for loading the entire HTML of this page. Now what I am trying to tell, I want to just access the data, okay, of whatever this Angular class in the template of this file.
Okay.
using selector, this entire HTML will get rendered on the page. That is
Yeah.
different concept, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can tell me, Ravana, can you try? How can we do this?
Within the curly braces, we can name dollar.
No. Okay. I can just have one variable, right? For example, OB data. Okay. And it's of type init. Now what can I do? Whenever it is subscribed, I can just assign the value to this, right?
Yes.
And since this is a variable, I can access it in my template. Am I correct?
Yes.
Are you able to see now, Angular class?
Yes.
Did you people understand what I tried to tell? Suppose if you want to access the data, what you should do? You will declare one variable, and whatever data you are coming from the observable, you will just assign it to that variable, and that variable you will use in the template. Simple, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Suppose I will change to Angular class teaching. Okay. You are able to see, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is one way of accessing. Okay. One way of accessing the observable data. Declaring one private variable and assigning the data from the observable, then accessing it in the template using interpolation. Okay. There is another way. Okay. You need not to subscribe to this data. Okay. Indeed, what you can do, you can just directly take this observable, okay, in the template, okay, and you have one pipe called async pipe, okay. This pipe will do automatic subscription and will emit the recent value, whatever it is saved, okay. Are you able to see now? Still you are able to see, right? For example, if I don't use this pipe, let me show you. It will just print observable. Observable object. Okay. Now if you are giving async pipe, so what will happen is the subscription is handled by the async pipe directly. It will taken care by Angular. Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts? Tell me if you want me to tell again.
Once repeated.
Okay. So if you want to access the observable data in the template, there are two ways. What you can do, you need to subscribe to the data, you need to declare one variable, and you can assign the data received from the observable to that variable, and you can access this variable in the template file. Till now understood?
Yes.
Yes. The another way is like what I told, in order to get the value, you need to do what? Subscription, right? So instead
Yes.
of doing the subscription in the template, there is one pipe called async pipe. What is this symbol? This is the symbol for pipe, right? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can, there is one inbuilt pipe called async pipe, which will do automatic subscription and will display the latest value. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay. Now we will do one thing. Now the name is like this, okay. Now what we will do, whenever the button is clicked, we will update this name observable, and we will be able to see the latest value will get emitted, okay. Now let us check. So we have this function button clicked, right? In this, what I will do, okay, this dot name dollar equal to of Anusha Angular class. Okay. Now what will happen? Whenever I am clicking this button, right, that observable will be again assigned with a new value, and the new value will be shown here. Got it? So if you see initially Angular class teaching, okay, whenever I clicked on it, it became Anusha Angular class. Any doubts, anyone till now?
No.
Okay. Understood, right? So this is possible by using the async pipe. Okay, it's a very famous interview question. Now we will talk about behavior subject. Okay. Behavior subject. So behavior subjects are also observables. Okay. And we will get the value of an observable using what? In order to get the value of observable, what we will be doing?
Subscribe.
We need to subscribe. Okay. And you can just get the current value of a behavior subject using dot value method. Using just dot value, you will get the current value. Okay. And what is the difference is that you can give a default value for this behavior subjects. Okay. You can give default value. And if you want to save the next value, you will use one function called dot next to save the next values. Okay, I'll just show you in the demo so that you will understand. Okay. My name, since it's an observable, we will be indicating with dollar. Okay. And we will specify it as a behavior subject of type string. Okay. Anything you are giving, you will just define the types equal to new behavior subject of these things. So this keyword is for new is used for instantiating a class. Okay. Now, if you want to give a default value, you should give it in the braces. Okay. Otherwise, it will give you an error. A default value should be always provided for an behavior subject. Okay. For example, here Shilpa. We'll give the Shilpa name. Okay. Now what happened? So in order to access the value of my name, I said there are two ways to access it. Okay. One is using the subscription. This dot my dollar name dot subscribe. Okay. And data console dot log of print the data. One second. Yeah, you are able to see, right? Are you able?
Yes.
So using subscription, we can get the value. Otherwise, okay, you can just use this dot my name dollar dot value. Okay, let me just console dot log it. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Okay. Now I will tell you some more thing. So after this line has been executed, right? What I will do, I will update this name with Anita's name. Okay. Shilpa's name updates with Anita's name. Okay. This dot, suppose if you want to assign a new value to your behavior subject, right? You need to use one method called dot next. Okay. And you can give whatever name you want to give. For example, Anita. Okay. Now, what you will do first, you see it. See, initially it was Shilpa Ganesh. Okay. See, Shilpa name will be printed. Then what we are doing, we are just console log in the current value of the behavior subject. Okay. When that line was executing, what is the current value?
Shilpa.
Ganesh was the current value. Then what we have done, we have updated the value with what? We have
Shilpa.
updated the value with
Anita.
Anita.
Now what will happen whenever we have updated, the subscriber will again print this console log stating that a new value was emitted. That Anita Shilpa name will be printed. Okay, for example, I'll give here name will be printed. Okay. Are you able to understand now?
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever this subscription, right, it stays like that, and whenever this value of name dollar has been changed, right, this whatever piece of code is there inside will get executed again. Any doubts, anyone? Now I will print again my value here. Okay. Now what will be printed? Now what will be printed here?
Anita.
Yeah, Anita value will be printed. Now what I will do, I'll just update with Ramana. Okay. Now how will the execution will happen? You tell me. Ramana, can you just try? How will the execution will happen now?
Yeah. After Anita,
So tell me from starting. So it comes line by line, right? It executes this line and it will first coming to this line. Now what will be printed? You can see it. So now what will be printed? Can you try? I told you
no.
line piece of code will be executed line by line. Am I correct? So first it has assigned values for the observables. What is the first value for this my name?
Shilpa.
Shilpa Ganesh. Now you are entering this ng on init lifecycle hook. Okay. And you are subscribing the data and the data will be printed. What will be the default data I have given? First it will print
Shilpa.
Ganesh. Then what is the current value of this observable? Shilpa Ganesh.
Anita. Yeah. Current value.
Okay. Whenever we have executed this next, right? That means we have again assigned the value Anita to this observable. Whenever we have assigned, what will happen? This subscription, whatever is there inside will trigger again. Whenever any data has been updated, this will be triggered again. Okay. Now what will be printed? Anita name printed will be printed. Okay. And if you check the current value, what will be the current value? Anita will be the current value. Then what you have done, then again you have updated this name with Ramana. Okay. Now what happened? Now again this subscription block will be printed stating, sorry, this subscription block will be printed stating Ramana name will be printed. Any doubts,
Yes.
anyone till now?
Hmm.
You can just check it here. So first Shilpa, and if you check the current value, it will be Shilpa Ganesh. Then we have updated with the dot next value. Okay. and we have updated with Anita. Then in the subscription, whatever is there will be printed. Anita name will be printed. If we check the current value, Anita name using the value. Okay. Then I have updated the dot next method, the Ramana value. Now what will be printed? Ramana name will be printed. Any doubts, anyone till now?
No.
No, right? Okay. Now tell me how to create a behavior subject. Can someone tell me how do I create one behavior subject? Tell me a behavior subject with the type number. Hello.
Dot number
Okay, number dollar I will give. Okay, then
behavior subject
okay, behavior subject. Then
number type number
type, right? Number we will give. Okay, then
new behavior subject
new behavior subject. Okay,
some value
any value you tell me.
can be 10.
One I will give for time being. Okay, if you don't give a number, right, it will give you an error because behavior subject by default accepts one default value. Okay, now what we will do? Now tell me how to access this number value.
This dot number dollar
Okay, this dot number dollar. Okay,
dot subscribe
okay,
data
okay, and console log.
console dot log
How to get the current value of the data? This is one way, right?
yes
I have also told there is another way.
console dot log under way.
There is also another way to get the current value, right? I have
Yes,
told.
this dot number dollar dot next number dollar dot value
This dot
Number.
dollar dot value.
Yeah.
Suppose if I want to assign a different value, okay. Now how can I do that?
this
Using
dot
dot next.
number dollar dot next
1 minute, I just got a call. Yeah, now tell me how to assign the value to this number dollar.
this dot number dollar dot next
Okay. This dot
Number
number
dot. Dot next.
next of, then assign the value to. Understanding, right? You people are. Now what will
Yes.
happen? 1 will be printed as well as 2 will be printed.
Two
We
will
have
be-
because we have updated this behavior subject. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you can just check it here. 1 and the current value is 1. Then it got updated with 2 and this was notified and we have got 2 value. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay, okay. So this is the concept of behavior subjects, okay? Even the same thing is with observables, okay? If we are updating any observable value, wherever it was subscribing, it will again get notified, okay? But reinitialization of observables, we will not do it. If we want to reassign any values, right, we will be using this behavior subject with .next method. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay. Now, let me tell you about routing. Okay. Routing means routing from one component to other component, basically. Okay. Moving from another component. Okay. For example, if you see here, I have created one nav bar. Okay. You can see, right? Nav tag is used for nav bar. By the way, I have told you very less HTML and CSS for you people. So every day open W3 schools and line by line practice everything. Okay, nobody cannot tell entire HTML and CSS. You should take interest and you should start working on them. And it's very easy to understand for you people for CSS. Okay, CSS or HTML, because they are simple tags with attributes, right? You can learn it very easily. Okay, please practice every day so that it will be useful when you go to the job. Okay, got it?
Yes.
Got it or not?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what I have done, I have created a nav bar here. What is UL?
Another list.
Yes, unordered list. What is this LI?
Listed items.
Okay. Now what I have done, I have created one nav bar. In that nav bar, I have something called this unordered list. In that, I have one anchor link, okay, as a list item. Understood, right? So one of the anchor link name is first component and another anchor link is second component. We can even have one more, okay? Li. And in this, what I will do, I will create one anchor link and it is third component. Okay. There are two ways to do routing. Okay, let me explain you one by one. Now you are able to see this third component. Am I correct? Why other two are in blue color but not this one?
It didn't assign the value for that.
Sorry, Bhargavi, can you repeat it?
Means
We haven't given the URL. That's why
Yes. Yes.
like that. Okay. Now what we will do, we will create one component. Okay. What is the general syntax for creating a component via terminal? So-
Generate.
Oh,
ng
ng generate
generate.
component name.
correct. So what we need to do, you need to know where you want to create the component. So by default, it gave you the path till my app. Am I correct? So inside my app, what you have? What is this folder?
SRC.
Source file, SRC file. You need to go inside source, cd space source. Then inside source, what file you have?
App.
App folder you have. You need to give cd space app. Okay. Then inside this app, you want to create the component. So you have redirected to till app. Okay. And you will give ng generate component third. Okay. Let us wait for 2 minutes. You can see, right, this third component got created. And if you see the HTML, it has a p tag third works. And you have the TS file with component decorator, with selector, styles, and class with the name, and you even have ng on in it lifecycle hook. Okay. And whenever it is created, what will happen? App module will get up. And you can see the third component got updated, right?
Yes.
Now what we will do, okay, whenever we click on this anchor link, which is in the app component, this third component also should load. This third component which we have created, this UI should load. Okay, we'll give some heading. Okay, and there are two ways of routing. Let me just tell you first one. Okay, So you can just give something called router link if you are specifying for anchor links, right? Especially in the template, you will use one attribute called router link, and you will just give one path name. Okay. For example, third. You can give anything, whatever you wish. Okay. But it should be unique. It should not be first component, second component. It should be unique. And we are assigning this third to this router link attribute. Any doubts till now?
No.
So whenever you are creating that Angular application, right? So it will ask you whether you need a routing module. Okay. If you give yes, by defaultly it will create one module called app routing module. Okay. And if you can check, since we have named it as a module, it will be decorated with @ ng module decorator, and you will see two things, imports and exports. This router module is by default provided by the Angular. Okay. If it is a root routing module, you will just contain one attribute called for routes. Okay. Suppose if you're creating any other file, any other routing file, so it will look like in the import section, how you will have, it will contain router module dot for child. So there will be only one root routing module, and there can be any number of child routing modules. Got it right? Understood? Okay. So what is this routes? Basically, I'll tell you. We need to give two things in this route. Okay. One is the path. The path we have given in the template file. Okay. Apart from the slash, the path, whatever we are giving in the template file, we need to give it in this routing module. So we will define one object here, okay, which is of type routes, and it's provided by Angular. Okay. And it contains the array of paths. In the first thing, you can just specify the path. What is the path we have given for the third component here? Third. So you will just copy this third, okay, and you will just place it here. Okay. So when you are moving to this path, what component you want to render? That component name you will give it here. Okay. So what is the component name for the third component? Okay. You will just give third component name here. And if you are using it, what you need to do, you need to import it. Okay. You can just save it. Okay. Now let us just render here. Sorry, I have stopped it, right? Now you can see this third component, right? Now I will click on this component. You will see that third will get appended in the URL, and you will see whatever third component HTML here. If I just click on third component, you are seeing, right? It got appended with third, and you'll see third works, third component routing. So likewise, you can create how much routing you want, you can create in your application. For example, here, what is the path for the first component here? First component is the path. Okay. And if you go to the routing module.ts file and check, you can see, right? First component, and the component name is first component. Suppose, let me just show you. Okay. Now, if I click on first component, what is happening? First hyphen component, which is the path, will get appended in the URL, and the first component works here is coming. Okay. Now what I will do, now I will update with this second component. Now, if I click on the first component, what will happen?
Second component.
Second component will get rendered. Okay, you can see the path is still first component, but in the HTML, what you have given, you have given the second component. That's why second component is getting rendered. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
No. And whenever you see this app routing module is created, right, it is always imported to the app module. Okay, in the imports, it will definitely contain this app module, app routing module. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay. So this is one way of routing. Okay. We can also follow another way of routing. Okay. Now what we will do? We will just create one button. Okay. Button, and suppose routing. Okay. Now what I will do? I will attach one click handler for this method. Okay. Now do routing. Understanding, right? Now, whether this thing should be presented in the TS or not. Why this file is failing to compile?
Method should be.
App
Component.
Yeah, this do routing method should be available in the app component. Okay. Now what you will do, you will just give the app do routing method. Now what you do, whenever you are clicking this button, right, you want to navigate to a different component. Okay, that we will do it. What we will do, now this dot, so Angular provides one router, okay, which is from Angular. Okay, if you see, it's from Angular router, it provides this. So in order to use this router, right, we need to inject it into the constructor. Okay, and this value you will accessing it. So what you will do, this dot router dot navigate. Navigate is a function which is used for the navigation. We are navigating from one component to another component, right? Navigate meaning moving. Okay, navigate to, and this is the syntax. Okay, suppose if we want to move to the first component, what we need to do, we need to copy the path here, and what we need to do, keep it here. Okay, now what will happen whenever I click on this button, right? This button is for routing, then it will by defaultly navigate to the first component. Okay, let me just click this. We have given the second component, right, in the app routing module.
Yes.
This is one way of routing. If you want to give a routes in the HTML, what you will do, you will give something called router link as an attribute. Okay, if you can see router link as an attribute. If you want to route it in the TS file, what you will do, you will use something router from the Angular router. You will just inject it in this. A navigate method is available, and you will provide the path. Okay, suppose if you are giving a path which is not available, then what will happen, we will say. Okay, you can see that error, right?
Yes.
Why? Which is the path here?
Unknown path.
This path. This is the path, and we haven't defined any routes for them. Okay, if the path is this thing, what component should be rendered, we haven't given them. That's why it's error. Any doubts, anyone till now?
No.
Okay. Okay. So this is the example of doing the routing. Okay. Now we have one thing called ng on destroy life cycle. I told you, right? This is one life cycle hook. I will tell you in the next classes what is the usage of it. Okay. Now what's happening? Let me just remove it. Okay. And let me just clear all the console logs. Can I do that? No, I guess. Now what will happen? We will just go to the first component and we will check each life cycle hook. Okay. Now what will happen? Console.log of ng on init of first component created. In order to use ng on destroy, what we should do?
ng on destroy method.
Okay. Do we need to implement on any interface? Sorry?
Yeah.
So if you can check, we need to implement on one interface, that is on destroy. She provides ng on destroy method. Console.log of ng on destroy of first component. Okay. Now what we will do, we will just check all these parameters. Okay. Now by default, the application has loaded or not loaded. Correct? Are you able to see any console log related to the first component? No, right? I have just checked it here. If they are there, they will be highlighted. Are you able to see? Why? Because we haven't, the first component hasn't loaded it. Only it will be loaded when we click on this first component link, then only it will get loaded. Am I correct? Correct or not?
Yes.
By default, the first component has not loaded because we haven't used it custom selector anywhere, right? So it will be loaded only when we are navigating, when we click on the URLs. Am I correct? I have given it here, right? Router link,
Yes.
first component, second component. These are just links. But when we click on this link only, that actual component will get rendered. Okay. And are you able to see ng on init of first component here? No, right? Nothing in the console, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me just clear it. Now let me click on the first component. Now what happened? ng on init first component got triggered. That means this component was started and getting rendered on the HTML page. That's why you are able to see the template. That's why you are able to see the console logs of whatever is there in the TS file. What I said, ng on init is the second life cycle hook. And how many times it will get called?
Only once.
That's why you are seeing only one console log. Understanding, right? Now I
Yes.
will talk about ng on destroy. ng on destroy method will get called whenever this component is about to close. Okay. Now if I click on second component, what will happen? The first component content will be removed and the second component will get replaced. Am I correct? That means the first component is finished. Okay, it's destroyed. Any doubts, anyone? So whenever the first component is about to destroy, right, ng on destroy life cycle hook will get triggered. Now carefully observe, I am clicking on the second component. Now you can see, right, ng on destroy of first component. You can see the second component is loaded, right? The first component is no longer there. When it is about to destroy, this ng on destroy life cycle hook will get triggered. Any doubts, anyone till now? Okay. And I wanted to tell you, whenever we are navigating to different pages, right? if we contain any subscriptions, okay, we will just unsubscribe them, okay, in the ng on destroy lifecycle hook. Okay, suppose let me create one here. Implement. Suppose if you have any observables, okay, you can just unsubscribe to them. Unsubscribe meaning is that after this line has executed, even if we update these observables, right, we no longer receives the notifications. You understood, right? Whenever we are updating like this dot name dollar dot next, what's happening? It has been notified and this piece of code is getting executed. Unsubscribe, just get rid of the subscription. No need to get notified. So these unsubscriptions and all we will be using in ng on destroy lifecycle hook. Any doubts, anyone till now? Any doubts? Okay. What is the use of async pipe? Can someone tell me?
Automatically call the subscription and we get the value.
Yeah, without the subscription, if we want to get the value of an observable in the HTML file, we will use one pipe called async pipe, which will do automatic subscription and will load the data. Okay. And what are behavior subjects? Behavior subjects is also an observable, but we need to provide one default value, and we can get the value of a behavior subject using the subscribe method. We can get the current value of a behavior subject using the dot value. If we want to update the values of a behavior subject, we will be using something called dot next method. Okay, routing. We can do two ways of routing. If you want to do the routing in the HTML file for the anchor link specially, you need to define something called router link. You will assign the path. Then you need to create one file called app routing.module.ts. In this, you will be giving the routes. In the routes, you will be specifying for which path you need to load which component you will specify. Okay. This is the one way if you want to do it in the HTML. But if you want to do the routing upon the button click or any other thing using the TS file, then you will import something called router from the Angular router. This router has to be injected in constructor. Getting the point, right? And you can use the navigate method of this router and you can specify the path and the particular component will get rendered. Okay. And what about ng on destroy? ng on destroy is the last lifecycle hook. Whenever the component is about to destroy, this lifecycle hook will get called, and this is basically used for removing the subscriptions. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? Okay, one more advantage is the set interval. Okay, what will happen? You will set the intervals, right? Suppose you can set one interval. Okay, now what will happen? Let me do it in first component. We will set one interval here, okay? Set interval and what will happen for every 1 second, IAM interval will get printed, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. What we will do, we'll just go here. And this I have written in the first component, right? Now I'll click on the first component. You can see for every 1 second, I am interval is getting printed. It indicates the count, like how many times it is getting printed. Till now it printed 11 times. Now I will go to the second component. Okay. You can still see that component interval is still running. Okay. Even if we have routed out to the next component. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, to remove these kind of issues, what you will do, whenever the component is about to destroy, what you will do, you just clear that interval. Okay. So these kind of useful cases, you will do it in the NG on destroy life cycle hook. Okay. Now you see, whenever I have from the first component, I am interval is getting called. Now I'll go to navigate to the next component. You can see it's no longer printed, right?
Yes.
So this is one of the useful case. If you want to clear any intervals, or if you just want to unsubscribe from your observables, you will be using the NG on destroy lifecycle hook. Okay, that's it for today's class. Farewell. Bye everyone.
Bye.